Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy. Prison pen pals, a connection or a con? Tonight on Skincare and Suspects, we delve into the world of prison pen pals and the infamous Chris Watts case. Our special co collaborator, Angela from Angela's Aging Essentials, will be joining us to share her insights. Because you see, Angela actually corresponded with Watts when he first entered prison, giving her a very unique perspective on the topic. Not only does Angela have experience with the prison pen pal system, but she is also an expert on skincare. And tonight, she's here to offer her advice on exfoliation because you've got to exfoliate to slough off the old to make room for the new, whether you're a male or female. Join us as we combine the worlds of skincare and true crime. An unusual pairing, perhaps, but in a world where people are emerging true crime with cooking, makeup, crafting, and whatever else they can think of, why not skincare and suspects? This is just Angela and myself's collaboration, as we are both self-proclaimed skin freaks. I will admit to that. Sound like you or something you might want to try? Well, come on in. The water's always warm or cool, whichever you prefer on the Parawoman Radio Network. I'm going to roll some credits while we wait for the other skincare and suspect freaks to roll in. Shout out to my replay crew. What'd you think about our last live? Is the Watts house haunted or not? I need to know. What do you guys think? Guys, welcome to Parawomen Radio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Here in the blue, I'm dancing with you tonight, and it feels fine. Carefully strumming this old guitar again, words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I'd steal them and fly away with you for a while. Here in the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day.
Hi, guys. Here in the essence of gratitude, I have one of my besties on tonight. I've got you here tonight, and I've got my two favorite people in the world, Heavenly and CeCe, in my chat tonight. I don't know if it could get any better. but we'll see if we can try. Okay, before we get started, if we could start that algorithm dance party that I like to do, just start warming up your fingers and dancing them right up to the hearts and thumbs up button. Helps us dance out into the algorithm party out there, meet more interesting people, and bring them back to our party. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's really, really appreciated. And if you want to do a little extra, you can subscribe, and that's so easy to do. Just click that button, and if you don't like us, you can unclick it. But I think you might like us if you're going to decide to click it. So anyway, how's everyone doing today? I think my guest might be having some connection problems. I see her, but I don't see her anymore, if that makes any sense. She's been popping back and forth. I think she is having problems. Angela, if you can hear me. I saw you just before we went live, and now I don't see you. Maybe if I pull you up, we'll be able, well, I don't know. Maybe if you leave and come back. I think she left and she's going to come back. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about prison pen pals. And while we're waiting for Angela to come, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We've had Angela on the show many times, and we had her on the show. I first met her through this live that we did, actually. We had her on. Here it is. We had her on, and these are some actual letters that Chris Watts wrote to her.
Hope everybody has had a wonderfully blessed week. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be sharing some letters that I have from Christopher Watts. This one that I'm sharing today is dated July 19th of 2020. So I do hope that you will subscribe, hit the like button, and be sure to hit the bell so you're notified whenever I upload an additional video. And we'll just jump right into this. Dear Angela, hello. I hope this letter finds you doing well and growing in the fruit of the Lord. I know you're probably like, it took you long enough to respond, and I would like to apologize for that. I've been working on a project for the Lord the last couple of months, which has kept me busy, but also extremely fulfilled at the same time. It's amazing how worshiping and serving the Lord can make you feel man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Deuteronomy 8:3. So true in every way. I hope that your 4th of July homecoming with your daughter was.
Okay, so that was a little bit of the letter. And let me get my screen together and add Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hello.
Oh, hello. You just popped off. Are there storms going through Alabama? I think that's where she lives. We can't hear you, Angela, or see you. We can see the box, though. And you can see how beautiful she looks tonight. Let me go back, and I have more of that video. So I am going to silence that, and I'm going to tell you this was a binder that she had, and these were all the letters that he wrote back and forth to her. And before, you guys might think, like, why would she do such a thing? She is married, very happily married, but when he went to prison, she deeply felt like the Lord wanted her to write to him. So It was a strictly here. Let's see. Hey, Angela.
Hey girl, I am so sorry. There is like so much happening at my house. It is crazy.
Are there storms rolling over or what's going on?
There's storms. I got a 16-year-old that has just started driving who has a job and she's calling me every 2 seconds. There is just a lot happening.
How's her new job going?
Her job, Amy, is going so good. She loves it. And she's thinking about going into pharmacy. So she's
Ooh.
working at a pharmacy. And
Oh.
it's just so exciting. But, you know, she just calls me so much, just asking me all of these little random questions. And it's the cutest things. But when I'm trying to be professional, it's like, you know, can mom get like 40 minutes to herself? 40 minutes.
I know what's okay. I gotcha.
It's crazy.
It's exciting though. That sounds all like beautiful, wonderful, exciting things.
It is. And I'm so excited for her. You know, when you turn 16, that's one of the first like things that you really look forward to. And I'm really, really excited for her. I'm also super nervous as a mama, but it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think I got a job when I was 14 though.
Yeah, well, she started when she was 15, had been wanting to get a job literally like you, a workaholic since she was 14 years old. And we live in Alabama. Nobody would hire her. So,
Oh.
you know, it just worked out. And I'm just so proud of her.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, when I was going to school, I took a semester off and I lived with this Greek family. And one of their friends, she was going to school to be a pharmacist and she really loved it. She loved it. So I always thought, like, when I was taking the time off, I was like, that sounds like a good job because she was making a lot of money and she was just still going to school. I was like,
Yeah.
sounds like a good job.
Yeah. My daughter's kind of in the, you know, being 16, she's kind of torn. You know, when you were 16, you were like,
Yeah.
when you thought about what you wanted to do forever, I mean, the possibilities were endless. So we're just trying to support her. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're just trying to be supportive and keep her
that's
on the
all you
right
can
path.
do. I also, you know, something she could look into. I went for my, you know how when you're a senior, I don't know if all schools do it, but they give you this job thing where you can get half of the day off and you go to your job.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at a hospital and I transported the patients around. That might be like working at a hospital might be something super exciting for her.
Well, it's so crazy. Like they do this thing now, like called dual enrollment. And so by the time she'll be going into the 11th grade when school starts back. So by the time she graduates, she'll graduate not only with her high school diploma, but she'll also graduate with her associate's degree, which is crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just
That's amazing.
It is crazy, but yes, it is absolutely amazing. Yes, it is.
Is that we'll get into it soon. I haven't talked to Angela in a while. Is just really quick, is that geared so that they don't get so much of a bill at college for like 4 years? Is it so that you can take down the costs of college education?
Yes, it is because you have to have a certain GPA. And then, of course, you have to be either like all A honor roll or all A and B honor roll. And if you meet that criteria, then you're able to do the dual enrollment and then your tuition is paid for. It doesn't cover books, but just having your tuition paid for is, I mean,
huge.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so happy for her.
Oh, thank
You
you.
must be a proud mama.
I am. I'm like, it's so crazy that I'm going to be graduating with my master's and she's going to be graduating with her high school diploma and her associates. It's just like, boy, when things come full circle, it's crazy.
That's insane. Are you doing your clinicals at the hospital yet? Where Angela's going to school to be a registered nurse, right?
Yes. I'm going to,
Yes.
yes. And I'm kind of on the other side of my clinicals. And right now I'm just kind of fine tuning everything. And I'm really, really excited. I don't want to jinx myself, but I hope I have about a year left. And,
Uh-huh.
we'll just kind of leave it at that.
Okay. Okay, so let's get into the show tonight. So let's go back in time. I don't know, did you see me playing your letters when you were having the...
I did. Amy, I love your content, by the way. It's so good.
Oh, thank you. I love your content too. Um, so tell us a little bit. I kind of explained why you were writing, and I was like, it wasn't romantic. Kind of tell us again what prompted you to want to write to Chris Watts.
So, for anybody that is really familiar with the Chris Watts case, the infamous front porch when he was doing the news interview, I seen that live on TV. And I knew immediately when I seen that he was guilty. I mean, I just knew. And from there, I am a very religious person. I'm a Christian. And I'm of the, mind and body belief that whenever I just continuously think about something, I interpret that as the Lord is telling me that I need to act on something. And if I don't act on it, then it almost becomes like a burden that I end up carrying. And I just continuously kept thinking about that porch interview. Like, he is so guilty. I know he done this. This is horrible. And I initially reached out to him because I wanted him to know that regardless of how horrendous your behavior is, if you repent, then the Lord offers you redemption and salvation in that. So that was always the reason why, the intention behind the reason why I wrote Chris, because I wanted him to understand that he could have redemption, and in redemption he could have salvation. And kind of in just corresponding back and forth, it was always really biblical, always really scriptural. But in that, we had a little bit of small talk, about his family, about my family. Some of that I've shared publicly. Some of that I still to this day have not shared. But my ultimate reason in writing him is because as a Christian, I don't want anybody to die and go to hell. So that was my intention for initially writing him.
And did he say why he decided he wanted to write you back? Because I'm sure he's getting a lot of letters. Like, why you?
He didn't necessarily, God, Amy, it's been so long since I have just kind of looked over these letters, but just kind of remembering, and listen, my hormones are off the charts.
It's
But
okay,
so
honey. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I have brain fog, but I can't really ever remember him saying, like pinpointing why, hey, this is why I decided to write you back. I don't ever remember like that one letter why he said, hey, this is why I decided to write you back.
Heavenly wanted to know, when was the last time that you have corresponded with him?
Gosh, I wish I would have pulled my letters out before this. I'm going to say maybe 2021. I know for...
It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, I know for sure that COVID had happened, because I had kind of asked him, like I had wrote him a letter and then he responded. And then the next letter that I wrote him, I had asked him, we had a Valentine's Day party at our church. And it was kind of like this, scripture kind of like party that we had. And so I had sent him a copy of the questions that we did that night. And I remember including those questions and also asking him how things were at the time where he was related to COVID. So I remember intertwining those things. So I'm going to say 2021.
Was COVID was 20 to 21 or night. When was COVID? It's just 20 to 21, right? Or 20 to 22. So he's right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, I'm gonna say right in the middle. I can remember COVID happening like in March of 2020. And then, I mean, of course, it carried over like it's still kind of carrying over. But I remember the first time personally, I really heard about COVID and they kind of put a label on it was, like I said, around March, April of 2020.
Mm. Mm. And when you wrote him, what precautions did you take in writing him so he wouldn't know where you lived and all that good stuff?
I got a P.O. box. So, I say I got a P.O. box. I had already had a P.O. box. We live in a very rural area. And sometimes if you're having stuff shipped, depending on where you're having it shipped from, California and New York, two primary places, my address doesn't always want to register in the city that I'm in. So I had a P.O. box for a while and I just felt very confident with using that P.O. box. And because I already had it, I knew that, him or anybody else wouldn't really be able to get like my home address because I just had that P.O. box. So it just ended up working out. Like I said, being a Christian, I just believe that everything happens for a reason. And I already had that P.O. box. So, it just ended up working out.
Yeah. But I think it's important to see that people are like, why are these girls writing to him and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think people understand that people are writing him for noble reasons, for the reasons, their faith is telling them to do. And I just always think it's important to show that there's good people out in the world writing Chris Watts.
Yeah, I definitely think that there are. And this is something that I've taken like many, many, many classes and courses in psychology that I have a hard time understanding. Like, I've never understood the fascination like with fangirling, like people that are just, specifically women that are just fascinated with men that do like horrendous things. And that was never me. Like before I wrote Chris that first letter, like it was almost like a family, like we had a family meeting. And I told my husband, like, this is how I'm feeling. And, I feel like, my husband is also very religious. I said, I feel like the Lord has just kind of laid this on my heart. I want him to understand this, this, and this. And my husband was super supportive. Now, I have two girls, and my girls were kind of like, Mom, have you lost your mind? Like, have you literally lost your mind? He is a monster. And why would you want to write him? But after I had a very, candid conversation with them, they ended up both being really, really supportive. And, kind of looking back, I think now both of them being into true crime are really appreciative that they have those letters. So
That's awesome. Yeah, it is a really unique thing to have. I will admit that. And I mean, when she says she hasn't shared them, she hasn't shared them with me or anybody in the public. They're private, and she is like, when she shared her letters, she blocked them out, or it's just some people do keep things private.
yeah, I knew whenever I received like many different letters from him, like some of the things in there, I followed a lot of people talking about him very, very closely. And I knew that a lot of the things that he talked to me about in those letters weren't something that I had read about before. And, about his family, about his personal life, whatever. I wasn't going to be the one to share those. And the reason why is because, like I said, my initial reason for writing him was to talk to him about redemption and salvation. And I've shared a lot of those letters, but as you mentioned, a lot of that I've blocked out just because, it's really, in my opinion, kind of irrelevant as far as the reason why I wrote him. And I just didn't want to be the one to share those. And still to this day, it's been probably maybe, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 months since I looked up anything about Chris Watts. But still, some of the things that he shared with me in those letters, like I still haven't seen anybody talk about. And so I can just kind of appreciate having those letters and kind of having that information.
Yeah.
And also appreciating and respecting the fact that I've kind of just held that to myself.
Yeah. And I really, your integrity, I really, really appreciate. I really do. And I think that's one of the reasons I like you so much.
Oh, Amy, thank you. I appreciate that.
So let's move over into the skincare part of it. Angie has a page. I had it up here. It was Angela's Aging Essentials. And it's all about skincare. And tonight we're going to talk about exfoliate. Oh, I just noticed you hit 1K.
I know.
Angela. I was just going to say, let's get you to 1K, but you're there.
I know.
So
I was
proud
so
of you.
excited. Thank you so much. It was so crazy because my husband and my oldest daughter did a 10K in Atlanta. It's actually the biggest 10K in the world. And while we were there, my husband and my oldest daughter were doing the 10K and I hit 1K. And I was just like, I mean, could this get any better?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know. I was so excited.
That's amazing. So over here, she has her page and it's all about skincare. So tell us a bit about exfoliating. When I said, what skincare topic do you want? You immediately said exfoliation, and tell me why.
Okay, so with exfoliation, I think that is pretty much the one thing that really transformed my skin. When I really went down the rabbit hole of how beneficial acids could be, not only to the skin on my face that everybody sees, but my body, I was kind of blown away. And when I really started kind of incorporating those acids into my skincare routine, that's when I really started noticing a difference with my texture, a difference with my skin tone, a difference with, I mean, when you put makeup on, sometimes if you have bad texture, your makeup can just all run together to where you have that texture. And I started noticing that was happening to me. So after I started exfoliating, I was like, wow, my makeup is not just kind of settling into these places. And exfoliation is just so super beneficial to your skin. It's something that anybody that is into skincare, whether you are advanced or you are a beginner, it can be super beneficial to your skin.
I have to do it because if I don't do it, my skin won't absorb my lotions and oils. It just won't. It won't matter how much I put on. It just won't absorb it. It's just weird.
Yeah, it does so many wonderful things for your skin. Like you said, from helping your products really have better absorption. When you have dead skin on your face and your skin cells turn over at a different rate depending on your age. But I'm 44, and when you get in your 40s, your skin cells start turning over a lot slower than what they once was. But when you're able to use an exfoliator like an alpha hydroxy acid, which is your glycolic and your lactic, or even a beta hydroxy acid, which is like your salicylic, it's just going to really remove all of the dead skin on your face. So when you go in with your skincare or you go in with your makeup, it's just going to have a really beautiful, clean, smooth canvas. So it's going to absorb better, it's going to lay better on your skin, and it's all around just going to make your skin look a lot better than it would if you weren't exfoliating your skin.
Are there questions that I'm missing? I'm sorry, you guys. Did I miss the question for Angie? I'm kind of like trying to scan up and see. And let's see what you guys are saying over into chat anyway. questions are wonderful, whether they're questions on the skincare or on the Chris Watts pen pal letters. Let's see who's here tonight. Giselle Hunter, hi. Smarzy, hi. Who else do I see? Sorry, I'm not scrolling very well tonight. Let's see. Smarzy, hi Chrissy, hi Rose P. Giselle Hunter, it's so good to see you again, honey. Kim, I thought I saw Jamie. Jamie, I just wanted to say that I got your email and I'm going to email you back soon. Okay, so let's go back into the whole pen pal. I wanted to look at, well, I wanted to look at other pen pals, and I found an old one 2 years ago. It was Chris Watts's new girlfriend, Anna Norwick, her letter. I thought we would look at her letter a little bit. And I also have a little thing I want to watch on the safety of the dangers of having an inmate pen pal. Wanted to kind of get into that a little bit. So let me get my screen situated again. Now, this person was Anna, and I do remember Dylan. Do you know Dylan Tallman, the neighbor that lived next to Chris Watts in the prison for a year or so that he wrote a book with? He's coming out with all these series of books, and he did say that Anna was married. She's a married woman.
Yes.
And that but she was a nice person. But she's a married woman, and this is a sexual type of letter. Like it was his girlfriend, and apparently that is why they broke it off, was because of the married part.
Well, let me say this. I will say, as a married woman, I have been married to my husband for almost 20 years. My husband, I don't care if I lived within a half a mile of where the prison was, and I say that because I know Anna lived close. My husband was okay with me writing him, talking about redemption and salvation. But when you go with going through the trouble to set up these visits, it's a completely different ballgame, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. And isn't she the one that went on the, Dr. Oz show and all? Yeah.
While he was in the Weld County jail. This appears to be the first letter that she sent him. And on the envelope, the return address is Life Church, Anananuck. If you in De Pere,
so it looks
Wisconsin.
like if it was at I don't know. It looks like she had it sent to a church at first for the first letter.
Yeah, that's what I got from that too.
Yeah.
As one of the staff members of the church, so maybe she just used the church address as a return address because she didn't want to put her home address on her initial letter to Chris. So let's see. I haven't read through this yet. I'm going to be reading this for the first time with you. Chris, my name is Anna, and first I want you to know that this is not a hate letter. I'm not writing this to condemn you or anything like that. I actually wanted to write for the exact opposite reason and let you know that no matter what the world says, and no matter what you...
I think you're right. Those are the pitfalls of having a prison pen pal. If your desire is to find love, I think that is a true recipe for disaster. But that's just my personal opinion.
You hear from other people, there is a God.
There's other successful prison relationships, and I always pull up the one with West Memphis 3, Damien Eccles' wife, Lori. She met him why watching the documentary and writing to him. And I would credit her for being the one that got him out, even though, you know, it was all these famous people that got him out, but she was the one that really held it together for them, in my opinion. Did I lose Angela? Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Who loves you unconditionally and without judgment. I've been following your case, and it's been heavy on my heart to tell you that no matter what happens or what has happened, God has already forgiven and forgotten your sins. It's hard to accept that for me sometimes. Well, how does she know he's forgotten and forgiven the sins if Chris has even asked for forgiveness? How does she know that if Chris has asked for forgiveness? It's hard to accept this for me sometimes, to know that when I
Was
do...
Chris already baptized when he went to prison?
I don't think so. Now that's not 100%. I don't think so. But like I said, I don't have a whole lot to go on by that. And I don't necessarily know that he's been baptized since he's been in prison. But
Or at all?
it seems like I can remember somebody, whether it was his family or... I don't know, Amy. That's a good question, whether he's been
Actually,
baptized
you
or
know what?
not.
Come to think of it, I think he was, because why would everyone be so excited that Ronnie finally got baptized? So now that I'm thinking about it, because remember how they made a big
Yes.
deal? Yeah, so I think he probably was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something wrong in sin, I don't have to worry about him hanging it over my head and remind me what I did wrong. Instead, he welcomes me with open arms and loves me when I can't read this, and loves me despite what I did wrong. I obviously don't know your story. Oh, but she knows that he's forgiven. But God never changes, and his love and forgiveness is the same for everyone. You simply have to ask God.
So her first letter was a lot like reaching out. I'm just trying to be, you know, your Christian pen pal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it.
Yes. That's what I take from that. And just to kind of differentiate a little bit between that letter and the first letter that I wrote Chris, the very first letter I ever wrote him was strictly scriptural, like John 3:16. I mean, I didn't say, you know, hey, my name's Angela and blah, 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 blah. I said, you know, I want you to know that according to God's word, you can be forgiven for what you've done through redemption and salvation. So I don't know. In my opinion, I can kind of read Anna's letter, and I've seen this before, and just because I know my intentions when I wrote that letter to him, I say this, but I can almost see like a difference in, you know, the title to your video wanting to be like a pen pal, and then like what my intentions were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to say like what I couldn't put a word to what it was. It's called something when ministry. Is that what it was? More ministry?
Yeah, ministry is a good word. And just to provide a little bit of context is, you know, Chris ended up writing me a letter and telling me that, yes, that he understood redemption and that he understood salvation, and that, you know, he had done the steps and he had done what he felt he needed to do. And in his heart, he had been forgiven. And that's not for me to be a judge of, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's for the Father, Jesus Christ, to be the ultimate judge. But when I got that letter, I did write him a final letter. And I pretty much told him, this is the last letter that I'll be writing you. My intention to write you has remained the same. I wanted to know that you understood this. And now that I know that you do understand it, I won't be writing you anymore. And I don't remember if I received a letter back from him. I would kind of have to go through my letters. But as for me, I didn't write him anymore. And if I did receive a letter back, I only received one letter back. And that was kind of like the end of our communication.
Yeah, I think he used to. I heard the story that he was in the bathroom and his mom would like go under the door and say, "What are you doing?" And apparently he was praying. He said he was praying, but I always thought he was doing something else. So, what else are you going to tell your mom you're doing in the bathroom?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also find it hard to believe if he was religious. I mean, at the time that this happened, I mean, then this wouldn't have happened. The Lord would have been there to kind of been pulling on your shirt,
Yeah.
pulling on your heartstrings, and this wouldn't happen. So if he was religious when he was younger, I think at a certain point that kind of died out, or, we wouldn't know about this today.
Something happened. Something went wrong. I'm going to. I don't know. I think NK was doing dark stuff in the house, and I just think it just snowballed. It was just a perfect storm of bad juju and just bad stuff.
Yeah, Amy, we've had conversations about this before, and I agree. I don't think that this ever would have happened if he would not have got with NK. Now, that's not saying that this is her fault. I think at the end of the day, this all comes back to Chris. He made the decisions that he made, but I'm a believer that in the life that we're given and the path that you're given, there are people that you can allow in that will alter the decisions that you make. And it's up to you whether you allow them to alter those decisions or you don't. And I think at the end of the day, this was like a perfect storm. Like he was already unhappy where he was at, and then NK come in, and it just gave him a little bit of justification to justify his behavior. And then one thing led to another, and we ended up where we ended up.
Yeah. So switching back over to the skincare, when we're exfoliating, how do we do that?
Well, if talking about exfoliating your face, then you can do that a couple of different ways. You can get like a liquid toner, and I share this one all the time because this one is so affordable. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's a glycolic blend mixed with a red rooibos tea. And red rooibos tea is super similar to green tea. It's super common. It's going to help if you have eczema or rosacea or redness in your skin, any type of inflammation that you have. So it's a beautiful combination to really help exfoliate your skin, but also because exfoliation can be sometimes irritating to your skin, because this has that red rooibos tea. It's just a beautiful combination. As somebody who has a little bit of redness in my skin is very reactive. This has just been one that I have been using for 4 or 5 years, and I just continue to go back to this. And you're just going to use this. You're going to either put a little bit in your hands and just kind of rub it on your face. This does not have to be rinsed off. Or, when you're at Walmart or CVS, wherever, and you see those little cotton rounds, the little cotton pads, you can just shake a little drops on there and then just kind of use your pad. Either way is going to be very effective. And regardless of what way you use it, the benefits of using it are going to be the same. You just have to use it.
Yeah, I get a little redness, so that sounds like a really good product for me.
Yeah.
I have this ability now where I can tag your products that you hold up. So I will be tagging them and they will show up for you guys. And if you're interested, you can just click on the link and it'll take you right to the product.
Yeah, it's a great product. Like I said, it's just one of those products that is super affordable. And sometimes it's hard to find a product that has an exfoliator in it, but then it also has an ingredient in it that is really going to kind of help combat any irritation you get from the acid. And because this has both, it's just a product that I recommend on my channel to my subscribers. It's a product that I recommend to my friends and family. It's super affordable, and it's just super beneficial to your skin.
Oh, I was just going to ask if it was budget friendly, but yay, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's super affordable. I think it's like $13-14.
Oh, wow.
And
yes, that is.
And you get a lot. So It's a really, really great product.
I have to say I've been using the Pixie one, the Pixie Glow. I do the Glow Mist. It's so hard to keep your glow the older you get. Like, it's a struggle to keep it all day long. I can get it on, I can make it so it happens for like 3 hours and then it's just gone. Poof.
Yeah, and the reason why is because we're getting older and our hormones are changing. And when our hormones change, it really affects our skin. So, yeah, I feel you. I can get a glow, like you said, 3-4 hours after I have done my skincare and my makeup. I'll notice that my skin, I'm like, dang, girl, your skin is really looking good. And after that, it just goes to the gutter. It's like, no.
Young girls don't know. You don't know you got it when you got that glow. You just don't. And then when you're older and you look at it, you're like, I had that glow.
And girl, nailed it. Because what's so funny about this is when you really got it, you don't necessarily have the confidence to know that you got it.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, it's like you don't have the confidence anymore. I mean, it's like
you've got the inner confidence, but then the outer starts going to hell.
I know. Oh, well. In a handbag. Yep.
That's why we're here to tell you what to do, guys. To make it a little easier. Okay, so we're going to go in and look at some of the things to do and don't do with this whole, I found this site. It is called, it's called Wire of Hope. And these are the precautionary, if you want to, you guys, listen, all you have to do is Google prison pen pals, and there's going to be a ton of sites that pop up that, you can do apps, you can do, let me show you, you can find just about anything. There's female pen pals. There's of Chris. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Oops. There's videos too that I'm going to link that you can watch. This is a 2-hour one where, it's the whole dangers of writing to a prison pen pal. But like, there's Reddit pages where there's actual friends and family that will post pictures and, things to write. So, and there's apps. You can write you can get a hold of anybody. I even saw that, I think, let me see, Chris is on one of these apps, I think, but I can't find the one. I think this is it. Make a difference for your incarcerated loved one. These are people asking to write to Chris Watts. That's what it is. So, I mean, there are people that just want to write them.
And Amy, listen, let me grab my notebook from him real quick. This is going to tie into why it's super important to be, protective. And
okay, I'll start reading a little bit about the precautionary measures while you're doing that. So here we have, let me make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. You are. Okay. So the precautionary measures to write an inmate. So underage visitors are not allowed to authorize on Wire of Hope. These are just all the, basics. All prison pen pal profiles are proofread. Access conviction information in a separate section. Visitors can report fraud at any time. Contact information. What? I thought these were ways to keep safe. These are precautionary measures that this place keeps safe. Well, as you can see, if you get into one of these sites, there are so-called precautionary measures, but for me, don't send them money, don't let them know where you live, would be two of the big ones, especially at first. I have heard things where they pass on letters to other people, and then you get a whole different prisoner writing you.
Okay, so you say that, and let me just share this. I've never shared this publicly, but only because you say that. I actually, you're talking about like prisoners sharing letters with each other. I
Uh-huh.
actually did get a letter at one time from Dylan.
Oh,
So,
Dylan,
yeah,
really?
I did. So if you see that,
Amazing.
I never wrote him back. It was super weird to me that I got that letter. Uh, but I did get that letter. And that's just why, like when Amy shares this information, why it's just super important. You know, I guess if you're in prison and you're somebody like Chris Watts who's getting a whole lot of mail, and then you have somebody who, I mean, I don't know about Dylan. Like, I think he was probably getting a good bit of mail at a certain point, but, they just kind of, trade mail like they would ramen noodles. And then they're like, well, here's you an address for this person that's been writing me that you can write. And that is something to be super observant about, because if you were just writing from your home address, then you're sharing your home address with who even knows how many people.
Yeah. Dylan's girlfriend is actually one of our members. She was in the chat and she was gifted a free membership. And she seems to be a very, very nice woman. And I hope that Dylan has finally found somebody that will, be his person, because Dylan does seem like a decent person. Recently it's come out that Chris just let him along like he does everybody else, and just double crossed him. And I don't know. Chris is I can say this because I can say that I am not a Christian. I do believe in a higher power, but I'm not a Christian, and I don't believe that Chris Watts has found God. I think he's just using it as another one of his tools. So I can say it. I know you can't, but I can say it.
Yeah, I can't say it like you said because I'm not necessarily the judge at the end of the day. But I will say this. I will say there is a lot of behavior. I'm not trying to be vain or put myself up on a pedestal, but when you have a good character, like you don't have to do anything or really even say anything. It just kind of shows. And I know with Watts specifically, a lot of things, regardless of what he says or does, the things have to kind of align, and it doesn't necessarily align for him. But with that said, at the end of the day, that's not for me to judge.
Yeah. So looking at your letters, is there anything that stands out in your letters with him?
Like I said, I have not looked at these in, gosh, probably a year. I would just kind of have to go back through them. There's, like I said, a couple of things that, I haven't shared that I've kind of kept private, that lets me know that Chris, I know because of what he wrote me, that he really does care for his family. And when I say his family, I mean like his mom and his dad. Like he cares a lot for his parents. Just because of what he wrote me in some of these. Now, and I say that because some of the things that he wrote weren't necessarily something that he had to write me, but he wrote me because he knows that I'm religious, that I'm a praying woman, and he wrote me with the intention for me to pray about it, yada yada yada. But I will say that I don't necessarily think that he cared about his wife and his kids. I mean, that's a fact, or he wouldn't have done what he done. But after the fact, as far as what he writes, his own words, he appears like he does really care about his parents.
I think, yeah, I would agree with that he does. If he's able to feel any feelings, it's definitely for his mom and dad. I don't know. I think he feels for his sister too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple of, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen a couple of interviews or, I don't know if you'd call them interviews, but just a few things like with his sister. But I think they have like a typical brother or sister relationship. But sometimes it just kind of, from what I get, can seem a little tainted. Uh, but as far as his parents, like, he really appears to have a lot of respect for his parents, a lot of appreciation for his parents. Like, he wants the best for his parents. And it appears to be like vice versa. They also appear to want the best for him as well.
And I think Dylan even started a relationship with his parents, which probably has come to an end now. But yeah, I think that I feel so bad for his parents. In the beginning, I guess I didn't quite, I don't know. I'm not going to say I didn't understand it, but my heart just wasn't there for them because they were saying all these harsh things. But if after studying the case, and if you sit there and if you really think about it, they're his parents. They must be going through something horrible.
Yeah, I agree with that, Amy. I think it's super similar to any case that we know about. Like, if you just think about the one that's going to be coming up in 2025, like the Brian Kohlberg case, like, obviously it's catastrophic for what happened to the victims. But I mean, and there's no comparison. Like, I'm not trying to compare the two.
Yeah.
But when you think about his parents, like, I mean, their loss is not as great as what the victims were, but at the end of the day, like, there's so much more that's lost other than just the victims. Like, there's the family, the friends of the accuser, the friends and the family of the victims. Like, there's just so much that it really does affect.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least they do get to see him and talk to him. But I mean, the mom, and he lies to them, and they must be living in fear of what might happen to him, probably more so than he does. So I don't know. I can't imagine having a loved one in prison. I really can't. It's got to be really hard.
I can't imagine either, Amy, like, having a loved one in prison. Like, when you think about it, like, like, the jails are so overcrowded, and I mean, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, when you think about nowadays, like, they put people like murderers with people who have a grand theft auto because the prisons are so overcrowded. And when you think about things like that in prison reform, it's, like I said, a whole nother conversation. But as a parent, I could not even imagine.
I can't either. When you would write him, did he write you away, or did he, like, put some time in between the letters? And how many were there? There were like 10 or 12 or so.
Yeah, like I said, there's been a few that I have not shared, like whole letters that I haven't shared. I'm gonna say, gosh, and like I said, I have my notebook here, but I'm not gonna waste you guys' time with me flipping through it. I'm gonna say, from the first letter that I wrote him, I'm gonna say maybe, and this has been some years, so
Uh-huh.
just off the wall guess, I'm gonna say maybe a month and a half before he wrote me back. Like, I wrote
Oh,
that
okay.
letter, and then a month and a half he wrote me back. And then I'm going to say we probably have, I don't know, maybe 14, 16, 17 letters that I have from
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I thought there was quite a few. And is there
Hmm.
anybody else that I couldn't remember? Have you ever written to anyone other than Chris Watts?
Yes, I have written to one other person. And this was many, 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 many years ago, really before even true crime was even like a thing. Um, and I haven't shared that publicly, but yeah, before true crime become a thing, like, where everybody is just so fascinated with it, I did
Uh-huh.
write one other person. And again, my intentions were the same. I wrote them. I have their letters. I talked about redemption and salvation. And, you know, it's the same story. I'm super boring. Once I knew that they understood that, again, same scenario, wrote them a letter, and pretty much like a farewell letter. Like, I wish you the best. I'm so glad that you've come to understand how this works and you believe this, and yada, yada, yada.
Is there any prisoner out there right now that you would even consider writing right now?
Oh, gosh.
Would you consider writing Brian Koberger to see if he has found God? Do you think he could possibly find Jesus? Well, I mean, you probably think everybody can, but
I don't know. That's like a, I don't know. And only because Brian Koberger is just somebody that I just see as evil. Like,
yeah.
and I know that this can kind of be hard to understand. Like with Chris Watts, like when I say I seen that porch interview, like there was always something kind of like on the backside of Chris Watts that I seen. But with Brian Koberger, like everything that I've seen, and I don't expect anybody to understand that. That's fine. This is just my own personal belief. But with him, like I just see evil. Like I don't see any need for me to reach out for him. And I know you guys are probably like, that makes no sense as a Christian. But going back to
I don't
when I was
know.
when I was talking about Chris, like I just
Uh-huh.
felt like the Lord I just kept thinking about that. And with Brian Koberger, like I don't, like I've seen it. I've seen all the court hearings and yada 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 and what he's supposedly done, allegedly done, but I don't feel any kind of way, and I don't see anything that is tugging on me to do anything different than what I'm doing. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. And actually, I'm working on a video where I'm including Chris Watts, Brian Koberger, and Scott Peterson on prison pen pals and who's writing them. And I was just curious just to see if, because for Chris Watts, when I look at Chris Watts, I don't see, like, now I see the evil, but to look at him, I don't think he was evil from the get-go. I don't think he came out of his mom's womb evil. I don't think,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
Brian Koberger,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like with Koberger, like ever since I seen like that very first, like when they got him and then they flew him in and he got on the plane and then he was kind of walking through the courthouse. Like when I seen that, like I got chills. Like when I really, really
Wow.
looked into his eyes, I thought, you are just evil. And it wouldn't matter if it was me, if it was a preacher. It doesn't matter who it was that tried to minister to you. You are literally just evil.
I feel like he might have something. I don't know. And he's like a guy, like he doesn't understand why people see that evil. They're like, hey, he's like, hey, I'm a cool dude, right? And people are like, oh no, no.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, like I said, the more I learn about psychology, the more kind of like I want to know about it. But a little bit of difference between like him and Chris Watts is just that, the people that friends and stuff of Chris Watts said, no, there's no way that we would have ever seen him doing anything like this. But then the friends of Brian are like, yeah, he was a weirdo. Like, we are not surprised by this at all. And, just to kind of give a little bit of perspective, the people for Brian Koberger, as far as the interviews that I've seen, were like, no, he was a complete weirdo. I'm not the least bit surprised that he done this. Where Chris Watts' friends are like, no, like I cannot believe that he done this.
Yeah. So is there anything else about, we're at the very end, people are talking about, it is CeCe Watts's 8th birthday today, and we are going to talk about it at the very end, but we're going to close it off. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about exfoliation?
I just want to say to really take the time, you guys, to like exfoliate your skin. If you are like I'm not into skincare or I'm into skincare. Little things that you can do from exfoliation as far as your face to your body can just really transform your skin. One of my favorite all time, and this is a little crusty because it stays in my shower, but it's by the brand Naturium, and it's the Perfector Salicylic Acid Body Wash. The older we get, like when you shower and you'll feel like those bumps on your arms, those
Oh,
bumps kind
yeah.
of like on your thighs, kind of
I'm
on your
feeling them
butt
right now.
cheeks. Yeah, I know. And just using something like this, you guys, like 2 or 3 times, then when you feel your skin, you are going to be like, there is no way. But products that have any type of acid in them are so super beneficial to your skin in so many ways. And my biggest advice to you would be, whether or not you're into skincare or not, if you just wanted the one thing that is really going to transform your skin, on your face, on your body, exfoliate. Literally exfoliate your skin with a gel cleanser or the toner that we talked about. If you stay consistent with an exfoliator, when you are about 5 to 6 days in, you will be like, oh my gosh, like my makeup is
Yes.
not sticking to my skin. And wait, like my bumps don't feel like they're as bad. I promise you, you can come back and thank me. You will notice a huge difference in your skin just from using a alpha hydroxy acid or a beta hydroxy acid. You will notice a huge difference in your skin.
Is there ever, because I sometimes do use like the topical exfoliator. Do you like the little gritty? Do you ever recommend that?
As far as like a gritty type of product, yes. Now I have some products. I call that more like microdermabrasion. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what that is. Okay, you're
yeah.
right. You're right. Okay. Okay, so it is CeCe Watts's 8th birthday. I can't believe she would have been 8 years old.
I know. Was that not crazy? I seen Rusick share the grandma share that on her page today, and I thought, wow, what a very heavy load to have to carry, to just kind of have them paused in time. But every year you celebrate their birthday and you realize that it's their birthday, but yet they're just kind of stuck in time. It's just so beautiful.
It is. And with CeCe, I didn't get a chance to do her 8th. So this is from her 7th birthday, but I just want to acknowledge that it's her little birthday and this was a year ago. So be kind, you guys, that I made this. I don't know if I put music in.
But it's okay. I don't have the pieces of your home buried in the flashbacks of these wicked.
Oh, and as a side note, little Dieter turned 12 like a month ago.
Oh my God, little Dater. I
He's
know,
seen too
Amy,
much.
little Dater. It's the sweetest
I know.
thing.
He saw too much, that poor baby.
I know.
Look how chunky Chris is right there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking he's a thick little thing.
I've been hearing a lot of rumors lately that he's a big guy now and he's bald.
Well, the baldness don't surprise me. You can kind of see it.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go completely bald. He'll be like Ronnie with the
I
big
agree.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna have a little brother or sister.
Oh,
You think so?
yeah. Poor little Bella.
I know.
I heard the worst thing about CeCe this week. I'm not going to share it. I'm going to do it on a different live, but it confirmed what I thought about what happened to her and the basement and just
Mm-hmm. Amy, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with that as well.
Didn't have as many pictures with as she did with Bella.
It always touches my heart so deeply whenever you see things like this and you think that we just watched this, but this is literally somebody's grandbaby, somebody's
Yeah.
family. And for them, like, time stopped then.
I saw we did a live on Sandy's. She's come back to the internet and she's doing her cooking again. And the pain is just still palpable on all of their faces. I just don't think it's ever, I don't see a day, I don't see a time in their life where it's ever going to get better for them. I mean, you know what I mean? I just don't.
I know
I
what you
don't.
mean. I know exactly
I
what
hope
you mean.
it does. I
Mhm.
hope it does.
I
I
know.
want it to for them, but I don't know.
That's kind of the one conversation. Like, I'm super, super close to my sister. I have an older sister, and that's kind of the conversation that we have a lot. Like, I think that's the one thing in your life that you just couldn't come back from. Like, how do you come back from that?
I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day too, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I hope they do though.
I mean, I hope they do as well.
But it's been 5, 7, 8 years. How long has it been now? Gosh.
8. Let's see.
CeCe was
19,
4. CeCe turned 3. How did she turn? 3 or 4?
It's been 7
3.
years, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because she turned 3.
Yes.
Wow. My screen is froze though, so I can't.
Is that your sissy? What do you say?
She's so sweet.
Yeah, she's like, what is that?
Did you put those big bows on your little girl's head?
I did not. I was not a bow lover.
Say hi, Cece.
I don't
My
think I
kids
would have
never
done
wore
those either.
bows.
Hi, Cece.
Yeah, I don't think I would have done that either.
Nice.
I would have been putting the ponytails in though.
Yeah, they had the ponytails, but I don't ever remember them having a bow like that ever.
Were they JoJo Siwa fans?
No, they weren't.
That's good because she's really turned into something.
Yeah, they definitely weren't.
Nice.
Say hi, Cece.
Oh my gosh, sweet little thing.
Now I want a baby. Not me, but I want to hold a baby.
No, it like makes
Bring
it
me the baby.
Yeah, like give me that baby. Yeah.
Careful. Careful. You want her hat? Oh, you're so sweet. What a sweet. You want to give Sissy a kiss? Give her a kiss.
I love this is one of my
Good
more
job,
favorite
Bella.
videos.
No,
Good
that's so
job.
sweet.
Give her a kiss. Oh, good girl.
Oh, Chris C did it with her girls.
Aw. You want to hold her? Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I think every little girl wants a baby so that, she can do those things. And so when you have a baby, it's you do what you want to do. You do what you wanted to do as a child with them, right?
That's right. They're your
Dress
baby.
them
You
up.
can do what you want.
Give her kisses.
Aw.
It's okay.
Give her a kiss.
It's okay. Can we give Cece kisses?
And I just wonder what CeCe would look like now. She probably would have had
Is that your baby
like
sister?
sandy blonde hair.
Yeah.
I don't imagine she would want to wear it long. I see her as more of liking bangs and more of a bob or that kind of haircut.
Give Cece one more kiss.
I
One more
thought
kiss.
about that earlier. I wonder
Can you
how
give
she
mommy a
would
kiss?
be nowadays.
Yeah, she struck me as being more of a tomboy type girl. I had one of my best friends growing up was like a CeCe. She was always rambunctious and ready to go and
Yeah.
moving.
Mhm.
That laugh.
I know. Sweet little thing.
Oh, she had a belly laugh.
She did.
And it's so scary too because like that was his girl. Like
Mhm.
Shanann would hold Bella, and for whatever reason he would hold CeCe.
I know.
I can't believe he would do what he did to, or allow, even if he didn't do it, he allowed some, either way, he allowed it to happen.
Absolutely.
And so those splash pads are such smart things to do for little kids.
Yeah, they are, and they're so much fun.
Yeah, I've been to them with my friends and their kids. And the doctor said,
That means you too, CeCe.
Silly monkey. Stepping on the bed. And one fell off and bumped his head. And Mama called a doctor. And the doctor said, no more monkey stepping on the bed. One silly monkey. Silly monkey. One silly monkey. Silly monkey. Stepping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. And Mama called the doctor.
I can't imagine going into that room at their house. I mean, it would just, or even like, I guess the Sandy and Frank probably have a hard time too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, what you were saying, seeing all, yeah.
No more monkey.
So happy birthday in heaven, CeCe.
Yeah. Happy birthday, little CeCe.
I can safely say I love these little girls, and I love Shanann too.
I can say that too, Amy. I think that Shanann was a phenomenal woman and a mother.
Yep.
And I think that these two little girls would have grown up to be very independent, strong women. And that just makes me smile because that's what I've always raised my two daughters to be.
Yeah. And they would have had that sense of humor and ability to laugh and have fun.
Yeah.
And what their personalities would be like now.
Yeah.
It just... So happy birthday, little CeCe.
Yeah. Happy birthday, CeCe.
Okay, well, I don't have anything else to say about the Prison Pen Pals. Do you? Or anything about the exfoliation, pen pal? Anything?
Protect your address and exfoliate your skin. And with that, I ain't got nothing else.
Okay, amen to that, sister. Man, it's been good to see you, Angela.
Oh, it's been good to see you too, girl. I miss you so much. Take care of yourself. Wish you the best always.
You too. Thank you. Bye, Angela.
Bye.
So this is Angela's page. Let me pop it up for you really quick. I forgot to do that before she left, but we'll do it for you now. And of course, I will put the link to everything down in the description. If you want to go there on your own, I will put the links for all of the products that Angela mentioned, and I will also link them on the screen for you. Be sure to go over to her page and say hi. It's a great page. She does a lot of giveaways too. So if you're into giveaways, tons of giveaways. So it's a good place to be if you're into that too. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have for tonight. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up for me. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much, CeCe and Heavenly, for being here tonight. I appreciate your help in chat. Thank you, everyone, for being here in chat. I wasn't able to pop in too much when I have a guest. I'm not able to go into chat like I like to, but just know that I'm watching you guys. I'm so happy that you're here. And if nobody's told you this, and even if somebody has, I'm telling you this. I love you guys so, so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Here in the blue, I'm dancing with you tonight, and it feels fine. Carefully strumming this old guitar again, words rolling out.